We are live. Welcome back to SIBS Wars. Maybe we should spell it with a Z. SIBS Wars.
SIBS Wars.
Before we get deep in, because there's a lot of GOT to discuss.
Yes.
Have my siblings both seen the supergroup of the decade, the Prophets of Rage?
They are coming
yes.
to Tampa on October 1st, and we
The
are going to
Prophets
go.
of Rage.
Yes, we have seen the Prophets of Rage.
Did you see them play?
No. I know that they're.
Where is it? Is it on the Tubes of You?
Yeah.
Go on the Tubes of You, and you can see Rage Against the Machine, Chuck D, and Be Real doing Fight the Power.
Oh,
So what they're doing is,
an insane show.
Yes.
dude, they're pulling stuff from Rage,
Yep.
from Cypress,
And for Public Enemy?
and from Public Enemy.
Yes, that was what I was hoping for.
There's a DJ on stage with them as well,
Good.
and they're creating new music together as well.
What?
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Sick.
Yeah,
I'm so
It's
down.
going to
Yeah.
be insane. I
it's
can't
gonna be
wait.
sick.
And this one we
Sick.
can't sit on. We have no decisions
we have
to
no-
make. This isn't like
I was shocked,
coming and
Justin.
hawing.
I figured that even, as amazing and as big as, they are, I figured that they would play a room like Janice Landing
Yeah.
or something like that. But they're playing the amphitheater, dude. They're playing the
They're playing Jones Beach, and they're playing the PNC.
They're going for good. See, they're going for good sound areas.
Yeah.
Everything they're playing are amphitheaters. They're not doing any indoor shit at all.
I mean, I don't know. They're going all
No, they probably
Well,
are.
the main ones that you just mentioned are all outside
Yes,
here.
yeah,
So the amphitheater here, that's where we saw Hall & Oates. That has like such amazing. It's exactly like Homedale, PNC.
Right.
Same setup, basically.
And
Cool.
Yes, we haven't seen on the Tubes of You, but we're October 1st, Tampa, Florida. We're going.
Yeah, go check it out. It's awesome. If anyone who's watching, if that one viewer is watching us.
Yeah.
That one thing,
Well, thanks for the comment 3 weeks ago.
I should have told him we were doing it. Our one fan, like that thing you do.
Yeah. So let's go back and start at the episode 6, right? Which was Blood of My Blood.
Blood of my blood.
Blood of My Blood.
And we could pick up where that episode picked up, which was exactly where it left off after Hold the door, which still
Hold the door. Hold the door.
Somebody has made a Hodor holding the door mini doorstop that you could put.
No.
Yes.
Oh, get
Yes.
the hell out of here.
And it's him holding the door.
It's him like that.
Oh,
It's him
yeah.
Christ. Yeah. Gotta get it.
Hysterical.
Yep.
People,
It's
somebody
hysterical.
made bank off of that
Oh
idea.
yeah, or is
quick.
going to.
Somebody in the door hanger business. That's
Totally.
crazy.
So we get the rescue of
Mira
and Bran by good old Uncle Benjen.
Uncle
Yeah.
Benjen.
Now, in the books, Justin, it's Cold Hand, right?
Well, yeah. In the books.
So what
Go ahead.
what Charlie from My Emergency Awesome shout out said that what they're doing is they're combining those two characters. So it's a sign of how they're doing things again between the books and the show. So Benjen Stark is now is Cold Hand as one only in the show, and then that's not how it's gonna be in the book.
Right.
Yeah, in the books, once Benjen disappears, we never hear from him again. And Cold Hands makes an appearance way before now, and it was not involved. Maybe he was involved, but for the first time Cold Hand appears actually as he helps save Gilly and Sam.
Oh, instead of
Really?
Sam killing the White Walker, it was
No. I mean, he helps get them out of there. I think Sam does kill the White Walker in the book because they call him Sam the
White Walker Killer.
They gave him some kind of nickname,
Right.
and I'm pretty sure that was in the book. I'm this close to starting to read the books again because I'm so, it's been so long that I might go back and.
I'm telling you, if you go through and you watch the videos, you will feel so much better. I am so much more well informed. I am deep down the rabbit hole. I know things that happened in the books earlier because you like LS, Justin. I won't say who LS is. You know who LS is, so I won't say it in case it does happen on the show. But Alex doesn't know about LS, so that's a lot.
He doesn't know R plus L equals J.
No, I know that. I think I know who you're talking about.
Lady
Stoneheart.
Oh, you know who Lady Stoneheart is?
Lady
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah, but I don't think they're doing it. I don't think they're going to do it.
I'll talk about it later. I'll put it down later. But I'm telling you, to watch those videos, or anybody out there that also needs a book refresher or is interested in how they put things together, Emergency Awesome is perfect for book reading.
I'm also going to recommend a podcast as well. It's called Game of Thrones, the podcast. It's a couple of guys. They do a really, really good job of reviewing the episode, comparing to the books, coming up, taking listener thought and ideas, and evaluating some theories and rumors and stuff. And I just started listening to them, and they're doing a good job. I really enjoy it. It's called the Game of Thrones.
With a name like that, are they HBO sponsored content, or they're just too?
They are not. They are not. It's just
I figured that they might have jumped on the name, but so I all of this talk between book and show led me to a question that I was thinking about earlier this week. We don't have to answer right now, but
good.
People are going to read the books. People who like to read are going to read Game of Thrones and the Song of Fire and Ice series, no matter what. But just
it's 10 o'clock.
Pure entertainment. It was my computer. Pure entertainment value and anything else. Is it even worth going down that universe? Is it even worth reading the books if you know that the television show is not going to be the same?
Sure. I would think of it.
I'm writing it down.
That might give you the same level of closure and satisfaction.
No, think about it this way. Say you never read a comic book and you watch all the Marvel Cinematic movies.
Right.
Would you never read a comic book to see what those characters might be like in a different experience?
I mean, I don't know. I can't say. I feel like my desire to read those comics that I have read, which, as you know, is not very many,
right,
is kind of independent of the cinematic universe. That I enjoy the cinematic universe for what it is, and I don't think I've ever been compelled to go out and read a comic or a graphic novel because of it. The one exception, the one caveat I will say to that was Watchmen,
which I started reading.
Thank you.
It's hard to read.
I'm sure. But I do, conversely, I've read graphic novels and comic books that I think would make fantastic cinematic plot points. Case in point, The Killing Joke.
Which they're doing.
They're doing an animated one.
Right.
I don't think they'll ever do a live action, even though I still haven't seen it. There were elements of Killing Joke things in Batman versus Superman. Was that true?
No.
A particular character that may or may not be alive or dead?
All right, we're getting way off topic here. We're getting way off topic.
Back to God. Like I said, we can talk about it another time. Back to God.
So Benjen shows up and helps our friends Mira and Bran get away from the zombies, the whites, and reveals himself to be his Uncle Ben. Uncle Bran. I'm stuck in Marvel land.
Nice. Yeah. And he's going to be like his sensei, his master now, to follow his three-eyed raven training.
And it's because that Benjen is part Walker. He had the dragon glass plunged into him, which is why he is now undead, basically.
You just reminded me.
But also, he also retain some human, right?
Yeah, he's like a half thing right now.
A halfling.
He's a day walker.
He's a day walker.
Day walker instead of a white walker.
There you
Uh-huh.
I remember watching this scene, and as we were talking about this, it came up in my brain now. I think that the scene in which Benjen is fighting off the whites is is a kind of like a small representation of what I think the whole battle is going to boil down to at the end. He's fighting off the whites with a flame mace, basically. So
sure.
Right.
Well, that's like, I mean, that's part of...
is a song of ice and fire. And we've talked about before the two different forms of magic that we've got.
Well, if you go back to season... I mean, this whole thing about Azor Ahai, who's the prince that was promised, that his weapon will be a fire sword. So if you go back and you watch... the episode, I think it's season 3, where we first come upon the Brotherhood without banners.
Yeah.
And where the Hound fights off the guy and he kills him, and then the other guy brings him back to life. They have a fire sword, but it's not the fire sword,
right.
Which gets into this whole thing about Valerian steel and all these other things, There's this whole story about who is supposed to be really Azor Ahai with this sword and how it gets quenched and all this other kind of jazz. So there's so much going on right now.
And I also heard a little bit that they might not like fully flush that out in the TV show.
It's possible.
What do you mean fully flush that out?
The Azor Ahai character and Jon Snow possibly being that the prince that was promised that I'm just saying, because they only have 2 more seasons, and then that's a lot.
And the other thing I heard was that they're going to be short seasons, those last 2. That we might get like 7 episodes instead of 10.
For real? How are they? How they're going to wrap this up?
Well, look,
I don't know.
It's all fuck to make these things. Also, it's time staking. I mean, look at how good they look. And then I think that there is going to be.
It's the most expensive show on television.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to make it a movie. Why
what's the point?
Do you know how long it takes them to do one dragon sequence?
No.
No.
6 months.
That's Just make it a movie.
Why?
Why not?
Because they can keep spinning this off.
You could.
They're not gonna spin it off. It's gonna end.
I heard that it's gonna be the possibility
of Dunkin' Egg.
Dunkin' Egg.
But they've been talking.
Yeah, but that takes place like 200 years in the past.
They've been talking
exactly.
About
so
Dunkin'
it wouldn't have that. They'll wrap this up. It won't have anything to do with these characters anymore, and that they'll start a new series in the time of Dunkin' Egg, and it'll be all new characters, but still captivate fans from this stuff because it's all the lines that led up to all of these stories.
I don't know. I mean, I'm kind of the mind that I love the way that most of the HBO programs that they've developed of this nature, when they're done, and they move on to something else. It's like, thank God there was no Sopranos spinoff or no Oz spinoff or anything like that. This was the story that was told. It's done. Let's move on to something new and cool. And the next thing.
It's such a huge world and so many characters.
That's why they should make it a movie. Because then they can have a cinematic universe and do all these things.
No.
Why not? Why not?
They're not going to do that. They're not going to do that.
It doesn't make any, to me, I understand you keep the show as it is, you finish out the seasons and do this, that, and the other, but it would save a lot of money, it would save a lot of time, and it would make the fan base way happier if they just made them into movies. That's my opinion. It would make...
Okay, Turtle Boy.
Anyways.
All right, and then we also get Sam Gilly, and that...
Sam and Gilly going home to Tarleyville.
Because,
That was a great scene. That was some great acting. That was
harsh. His father is such a douchebag.
Anyone with father issues, you were just like, oh. God.
Was I the only one that was sitting here going, Sam, stop being a fucking pussy?
And he fucking stopped being a pussy at the end.
But he didn't, though. He fucking copped out. I'm sorry. I'm getting...
He took his father's Valerian steel sword and walked the fuck out.
What do you mean, whoa? That's the biggest fuck you can
I just
ever...
think that
He has
Sam
his
has gone
father...
through...
His father has no idea. I mean, his father has no way to kill off like any White Walkers or anything that's coming down.
It's a great, like, you know, dog shit bag on fire gesture to your father. Like, fuck you.
No.
I'm out of here.
No.
Here's my
Hold on. Time. Okay. You don't understand the value of that sword and what that sword means in this world. Okay. There are very few of these swords left in this universe. The Valerian steel swords, right? There was Ice, which was owned by Ned, which was melted down and given to one was given to Brienne as Oathbreaker.
Right.
The other is Longclaw, which John has.
Oathkeeper.
Oathkeeper.
How dare you, sir?
And the other, John has it, which is Longclaw. Right? There's Heartsbane, which the Tarleys have, and there might be a couple more. That's it. No one knows if there's more Valerian steel out there, right? And that for the Tarleys, they're not a huge family, but they have one of the great swords of this universe. And for Sam to have lost his birthright and been shipped off the Black Wall to the Wall to become part of the Black, and to take on the Black. To be part of the Night's Watch, for him to come home and be treated like such shit by his father, for him to have the balls to come up and say, you know what, Gilly, well, let's go. Let's take baby Sam. And oh, by the way, hold on, let me get this sword and we're out. Which is a total departure from his character in the book.
I guess
his character in the book, this doesn't even happen in the book. He goes to the Citadel.
And he leaves.
He leaves Gilly to be taken care of in the city, I believe. I don't think he goes home at all. And he goes to become a maester. The way it was set up was for him to go off to become a maester to John. So when he comes back, he's John's number one guy. You're my number one guy.
I guess he had to go through the shit whipping to get there. But I just felt like Sam's character has already gone through so much growth from being up at the wall. It killed a fucking, like Gilly said, a fucking White Walker.
But
to Sam,
take it from his father, he should have just been like, "Fuck you, old man."
No, you're not. You're missing the point. The point of it is
not for nothing. Like with family relationships that we all know, we all understand that.
I understand that.
No, the point of that sword is that Sam's father valued that sword more than his own son.
Okay, I understand.
And Sam is.
I'm not.
You are questioning it. You're making it sound as if that moment in the show that Sam had gone through so many more trials. I guarantee you that Sam is more afraid of his father than he ever was of that White Walker.
Yeah. Okay. Good context. I hadn't quite thought about it in that context.
Yeah, I mean, for him to do what he did took real balls for him. That's Sam's moment where he's like, "Fuck this, we're taking Heartsbane and we're out of here."
Right.
Where they go from here, I don't know. I don't know what the next step for that character is, unless he decides to go back to John. Which
I hope that's what happens.
Well, I guess he can't go to the Citadel
but he doesn't know what the hell's going on over at. He has no idea what's been going on over at Castle Black.
Well, wait. No. Hold on. Couldn't it also be possible that he could still go to the Citadel and leave?
No, not at this point. No.
In the city,
he took that sword.
It's possible. It's possible, but
no. Sam knows that shit's going down, and also within the show, we don't have time. They're not going to time lapse for how long it would take for Sam to become a Meister.
It just seems like.
Well, no, not this season anyway.
If he goes back to Castle Black, what's he going to do?
Well, if he
Fight a
goes,
White Walker with Valerian
Yeah,
steel.
okay.
well, first of all, you know, if we're jumping ahead a little bit here into Broken Man, John's not at the Black Castle anymore.
Right, that's
Right,
what I'm saying.
right,
That's
yeah,
what I'm saying.
I
He has
mean-
no idea what's going on at Castle Black. He has no idea that John died and then been resurrected. And
Right? No, he knows none of this.
No.
He knows none of this.
And he has no idea where John is going. That he's not a clue that, and all this stuff with the Boltons, everything that we know, Sam
Sam
nothing,
doesn't know.
nothing. So
Yeah.
I'm wondering how he's going to find this shit out.
You know nothing, Sam Tarley.
No, you know not exactly. How is he going to find it out? So that's
All right. So we move on from Sam and Gilly to what?
we get
Tyrells.
the Marjorie, Tommen, and Jamie, and then in
Oh, so the Jamie marching the
Sparrow and
Right.
all that happy
I
horse
think
shit.
that
And
would
which
it
is
be-
kind of a moot point a little bit because he's learned more now
Well, I was
in
gonna say,
the Broken Man.
let's just
Yeah.
do this story segment. Let's just do all the story segments both episodes. Let's just take it each story at a time.
Yeah.
So we've
Okay.
got the Tyrell situation. We're out on the steps of the
Septon.
Sept, and Marjorie's about to make her walk, and all the shit goes down. And whence the power had been, you know, more men, more power, I guess. The Sparrow turned that on them and proved doesn't matter how many men you have, just as long as you have one man, the king, in your midst.
Right. Right.
I love,
So
I
okay.
love
So
interaction with what's going on, mother? He's beaten us. Our
Yeah.
own game.
right. So do we want to talk this story through to the next episode?
Yeah, let's keep going.
Yeah, let's just keep going with it because
So then,
and I also thought it was such a also like a castration for Jamie also, and he was completely
I
gutted
think it
by
was
them,
betrayal, yeah.
gutted,
More
you
than
know.
castration, because
It just like
When he was stripped of his Kingsguard and
and
being sent
also
off to River Run.
and stripped of his son.
Matthew.
Yeah.
Stripped of his son. He's lost
Yeah,
his
yeah.
son now, and
Yeah.
Because we knew that Marcella put two and two together. I don't think Joffrey ever did. Has Tom put two and two together?
Oh,
his
about-
true parentage. I don't think.
Don't know.
I
don't
don't
know.
about that one. Yeah.
know.
But I don't
but-
know if that. We'll see.
Because
We'll see
you know
how
his
it
mother.
goes,
We
yeah.
know he knows his mother is his mother, but he's probably still under the pretenses that his father was Robert Baratheon.
Probably, but
Especially because he's a king.
yeah.
I figured in the first episode that Marjorie was up to something. When Jamie pulled up and everything, she had this little look for a second where she was just like, you know, like she kind of like her mouth went agape, like she broke for a second in that first episode. But I think Tommen is really drinking the
Oh,
fucking
yeah.
Kool-Aid. I think Tommen is
No.
all in on this.
Well, yeah, I think he is too. But now that we know that it's all a game for Marjorie,
Yeah.
I think it's a dangerous game, and I think it's going to be Marjorie's end in the end.
No,
That's my.
no,
That's
No.
my. No.
I don't think.
No.
I think that.
I
I'm
think
really interested to see how
The
things
Sparrow
play out.
knows. The Sparrow. No, I think the Sparrow knows that she's too good of an
Faking it?
actress. Yeah.
what clue? What possible clue has that performance given? What possible Jonathan Pryce's performance? What has he done to give
And
you a
Jonathan
clue?
Pryce is amazing. I just think that he is also an incredibly smart man that doesn't have the wool pulled over his eyes very easily. And I just think that there really is a possibility that he doesn't fully, even if it's not like he knows 100%, but even I think that he still at least has his guard up. I don't think he's ever going to let it down. I think that's especially why he sat her down about having an heir. You know, he has a lot, you know, invested in getting an heir from the two of them within this. And I just think that he probably is too smart to say, I'm going to just put my guard down and she's completely all in now.
See, I think that interaction, the one where the Sparrow and Marjorie discuss an heir, See, I think that he is too concerned on that. And he's trying so hard to keep the sort of fake stability with the king so that he can get that heir who will be loyal to the Seven, that Marjorie is able to do whatever subterfuge she wants to do.
And how about that subtle him putting his hand on her leg?
Yeah. They made a point to put the camera
Creepy.
down.
Right. I think he's slightly. I think
Marjorie saw that as a little bit of a window.
I can use that.
I think as pious as that man claims to be, I think he's slightly smitten by Miss Marjorie.
You know, Justin, I hadn't thought about that. And they also did make the point of, doing within his whole backstory, his debaucherous sexual behavior, is out there.
Yeah.
I got you, yeah.
It'll be see how that plays out.
And then which leads to the whole, Queen of Thorns and Cersei scene.
Oh, what a scene.
Just like, you are the worst person I've ever met.
After that scene ended, I was just like grinning and biting the back of my hand, and Amy I hear as a whisper, "You've been waiting a long time for that scene happening."
And then you're like, yes!
Boom!
But I have to admit, I still had this tinge of like, for some reason, I don't know what it is, that I have this tiny little soft spot for Cersei. I know she deserves everything she gets.
Everything. But I'm with you. I felt it when Micella, in that scene in episode 2 or 3, when Jamie the chambermaid comes in and says, there's a boat coming in, and she's standing at the shore, and she's waiting, and then she sees that there's a sarcophagus on the boat, and for that split second you feel this twinge of like, damn, but then you're like, she's a psycho hoe beast and deserves everything that's just coming to her.
It's true, but did you feel it at all, even when Joffrey died? Even though I hated Joffrey, I was so excited. I don't know. Lena had such a good actress, though. She's such a good actress, and like we did talk about that scene in another SIB War, when I said, like, when she goes, that range of emotion that she was able to portray on her face when she saw that boat coming in with the.
Oh yeah, no, that boat was intense. That was everything that little old lady said to her was just on point.
Right.
It's like, you've done this all to yourself. You've screwed the pooch left and right, and you are the worst person I've ever met in my life.
I love that. I don't think you're the worst person I've ever met.
No, she said,
the quote
is, I'm the worst person I ever met in your life. And she says, after this long, the vile ones do stick out.
The vile ones do stick out.
Yeah, it was great. It was great.
And then so we have the Queen of Thorns leaving to go back
to
home.
High Garden. I wonder how that's going to play
and
out.
if she's actually going to.
Here's another thing. Here's another thing that I'm not sure how.
Is she going to make it out?
Yeah, she'll make it out.
She'll make it out. Okay.
My other question, and I'm not sure how they're going to wrap it up, or if they're going to wrap it up, is, are they going to kill Loras or just leave him in the dungeon? Because that actor, he's off the show, and he is going to be, he's Iron Fist in the new Marvel Iron Fist show. So I'm just curious if they're going to like close that loop and kill him, or just leave him in the dungeon forever.
Or recast.
So Loras is.
Wait, what about
they could recast.
Yeah,
but
if they need the character, they could recast.
I mean, well, I
they did that with Dario, so.
It's all going to be dependent on how that storyline ends.
Right, that's the thing.
We'll see.
That's a whole bunch of like what is actually within the book going to be flushed out. How intricate can we get at this point? What's the most important? We know what this is all leading to, and what the crux of it all. So it's too deep to try and do everything. So
Yeah.
all right, then we'll wrap up this one with not wrap up. We'll We'll start with the Mad Queen Daenerys, Theory,
the
and
Conqueror.
or Conqueror now, and that last scene was not.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on here.
What do you mean?
I don't get so, and this I'm not claiming origination on this discussion point because I heard it from the podcast I was listening to.
Mhm.
So think about it, right? She's gonna come to Westeros with this horde, essentially of mongrels or the Huns, like they're that kind of a people, right?
Right.
And she seems to, everything that she's been about prior to that speech was, I'm going to bring justice. I'm going to step up to the throne and rule the people and blah, blah, blah. And that speech, her on the dragon back, was a call to war, was a call to,
Give me my
tyranny.
kingdom.
It was not, I'm going to justly rule the world. It was, we're going to cross the sea and we're going to kill everybody and we're going to take it from them. And it just was like, either she's snapped or she's had enough of playing the game of being over in Essos and she's ready to go to Westeros. But what she doesn't know that's happened is she has no boats. She goes back to Marine and her fleet is gone because the
she doesn't
Second
know
Sons
took them.
destroyed it.
Mm-mm.
What are you dancing about, Matt?
Boys coming to save the day.
What? Who?
Boys coming in with their fleet to Marine. Sorry to jump ahead, but that's what's going to happen.
So what? Because they showed Yara as a lesbian, she's gonna woo Daenerys?
No, nobody's gonna woo Daenerys.
No.
Daenerys could take what she
That's
wants.
not what
basically.
I was saying with that.
But wait, I want to go back to
Okay.
Justin's theory
Sorry.
first.
Sorry,
Justin's
I'm
first.
getting ahead of myself.
I think that this is like a bit of just a sidetrack for a little while because what Daenerys does
She's been sidetracked for 3 seasons.
right, but Daenerys doesn't know.
Daenerys.
Daenerys, sorry, I put the A in there, I say it. She doesn't know about White Walkers. She doesn't know what is imminent to come. So she might be on this rage right now, this rager, and she's going to eventually find out that shit's going to hit the fan. And there are bigger things. Everybody, because everybody's right now in these little sections fighting for what they think is the most important thing for the throne.
For
we have those
themselves.
subplots, and then we have the people that know the real shit that's going down. So she doesn't know yet what the real important stuff is, and neither did Theon, and neither does Yara. It's like that. There's a whole mass of huge characters out there that don't really know what they are going to eventually have to be fighting for.
I wonder if
I think Theon knows. I think Theon, because if he was with
When
Rob.
when would Theon have been
because
seen by?
he was raised around Winterfell, he would have heard those stories.
Right, heard the stories, but not of the imminence, not of the real danger, not of how big the army is now, how much has been developing this whole
We don't even know how big the army is.
Nobody knows except for this small group of people that, I think they're going to have to run around and convince everybody who gives a fuck about the Iron Throne. Hello.
Right.
We're all going to fucking die. So I think that for now, that it's going to take a while for her.
We're all gonna die.
Yeah. Burn them all. I think it might take a little while to get there, but I think that it's just like something her character is, going through. I think that she'll come back. She'll come back down to earth. I think she'll come back down to earth and realize what's important. But
she'll get over it just like she got over smoking cigarettes. It's just a phase.
And then let's go all out Arya right now.
Arya
and
Stark.
just because this is going to take up a lot of, we still have a ton of stuff and we could, go as long as we want. But I'd really like to.
We know the task. The task is to murder the actress. And this whole time it's been, will she, won't she? And has it been interactions over 3 episodes now with this actress, or is it just these 2?
It was the last.
It's these 2.
These 2. So the first episode, she goes and
She
What?
gets the assignment from Jockin.
Right. But she
And
goes.
Jockin says, "This is your last chance. The many-faced god gets a new face."
Well, this is your second chance. There will not be a third.
Right. You know, either we get hers or it's you.
So
No, I just want to preface, he never says her or you, but he does say a face.
A face will be added or something like that.
Right, so for another, okay, I just want to throw that out though.
So
Okay.
she goes and she watches the play, and this is Arya basically learning of, other than obviously the beheading of her father, which
let's
she was
just,
there for.
Let's just, I think that we know the background. Everybody knows the background of what got Arya to that point. I think it's most important to start where she puts the poison in, and then, let's just go right there and delve into all the theories and what's going on in that whole process, because we all know the background of.
Sure.
She awakens and she realizes at whatever's going on that she's, a Stark gets Needle, from watching that stuff when she says, "No, fuck it, I'm not going to do this." We get the waif, and Jackin says to her, "Just don't let her suffer."
Right.
I also want to stress the importance of that statement.
Yep.
Oh, you have an agreement of that, Justin?
Well, there's so many theories that I've read and listened to in the last week. It's just like,
Alex is convinced that it's just plain old Arya, and that's her, and that she's gotten stabbed, and that's it. And I'm just like,
no.
I couldn't do anything to convince him. My first tip off, because I saw the episode twice, once on Sunday and then Monday with Alex, and the thing that was as it was unfolding, I was like, this is so stupid. Like, you just unequivocally dumb behavior of her walking around in the open, tra-la-la, with her hands behind her back, and
No needle.
Needle on her, and talking out loud about going back home and throwing money around. And when we left her, she was underneath the city in the dark with Needle, and it just didn't make any sense. Like, why? She was just like, oh, blah blah. So there's just, and it just doesn't make any sense that they would dumb down this character, that they would
to that extreme.
Yeah.
To go from she could be one of the the faceless men to being an idiot in a day. So I don't think it was her.
It wasn't her. So
if it is, the show's lost me, because it makes no sense whatsoever.
In the emergency comments, we were
all the deaths that have been on this show, killing her that way.
No.
See, it make no sense whatsoever.
Even if they don't kill her, if it's the reality, if she walks through and meets up with the actress. Something else I read is that maybe somebody suggested that she went to the actress and she gave her like pig's blood, so she had like something in her belly, so she wasn't actually stabbing the belly, to maybe confuse the waif and make the waif think that she stabbed her.
I don't know.
Or that she's, going to be walking through the streets and she's going to come upon the actress and the actress is going to save her. Even if they do that, I'll still be pissed off, because it still means that they completely dumb down Arya and all of her training and her smarts and everything that they've developed in this character over 6 seasons, because she's been the constant.
Right.
Then they just totally were like, no, she's an idiot. She's just going to be like, oh, Westeros, here's money, here's more. I don't have my sword.
The thing that and correct me if I'm wrong, Justin, the thing that I have a hard time believing with any of this is the implication there is that if that is not Arya,
right,
how could anyone get access to Arya's face if it's not controlled by the many-faced god? How could anyone, no good actress or makeup or whatever, could make that kind of a carbon copy? There's only one way. And the only way that she sacrifices her face is if she becomes a part of the Faceless Men. And she hasn't done that yet.
That's not. Hold on. becoming a faceless man does not mean you take your face off.
I thought that that was the price that you had to pay.
No,
No.
you have the power to put faces on.
Yes, I understand that, but I had always assumed that the key to the magic is that you have to get in order for you to be able to change, that you have to sacrifice your
No, because she's already worn a face. Remember when she killed the guy in the brothel? Remember when she took a face when she wasn't supposed to?
I remember her
Remember it?
herself in that scene or something.
No,
she wasn't.
No.
She was wearing a face.
She took a face. She
Okay.
took a face
All right,
from
so
the
that's
chamber.
all about
And
that.
he, that's when she. That's hold on. That's when he made her blind, because she
Right.
broke the rules and she took a face.
So then that I was wrong about that. The other side of that implication then is that you can take your own face and throw it on somebody else?
No,
What?
no, it doesn't. No, stop.
Okay.
Stop. When Jockin is giving her the assignment. Actually, I'm sorry. When Jockin is telling the waif, what is he doing?
He's taking a face off of a dead body.
Right, and that face will join all the other faces in the chamber.
Yes, 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 yes. I'm with you there.
So Jockin's face.
Is
I'm
his
gonna
face.
blow your mind with a theory in a minute.
Okay.
The waif, if there is a waif, that's part of it,
Okay.
is some old woman when she stabs, and I'm going to say stabs,
Right.
Arya, and I'm
Right.
going to say Arya, right? The two things one thing that I really like is that it's all in Arya's head. This is all part of her training.
And that she's still blind. She could still be blind.
The whole exchange.
Everything.
Everything.
She could still be
See, now,
blind even.
that-
Go back 3 episodes. Go
Yeah.
back 3 episodes.
Yeah.
To the when she's fighting the waif,
Yeah.
when she's blind,
Yeah.
every time the camera cuts away,
Yeah.
she's by herself.
She's just looking around like this, looking around like this.
She's by herself. She's swinging the stick, and there's nobody there.
And nobody's having any reaction.
And people are walking around it, and there's nothing happening.
Okay.
And that's another point that I brought up. She's walking through the streets supposedly bleeding out, and no one's doing anything. There's not one kind person in that whole entire street scene that would do anything to help.
And my thought that was just because it's Bravos and nobody was going to do that.
And people were looking at her like she's nuts.
Well, I want to go back because I haven't watched the episode again, but something I heard was if you watch the scene where she's walking through the after she gets stabbed,
Yes.
I think everyone's face is the same.
I've watched it twice and I didn't notice that. I'll go back tonight. I'll watch it tonight. I'm curious.
All the faces are the same.
Because
we're close to it. So there's something going on here that we're not.
Right. And that's
in the book, she's blind for a long time.
So that's what I'm saying. She could been blind this whole time while this has been going on, and that she went fucking apeshit crazy, and this is still part of her quote unquote Jedi training, and it's all.
Because if either of you seen the trailer for this Sunday's episode called No One, that's the title of the episode is called No One. There's definitely a scene where there's a person who looks just like Arya jumping off of a wall into a crowd of people.
Yeah. Yes, I do remember.
I'm gonna bet my hat here that she is not dead. That this is the whole thing is some kind of mind fuck.
Yeah.
And we'll. I don't know that we'll find out the complete story next week, but I hope we get close.
I think we will by season's end. I hope.
Now, I do have a question. Is there any way for Jackin to use Arya's face? Does he have that?
No.
Okay.
No.
I didn't know if he, because is such a high trainer, if he could if he could do a glamour type of thing. I didn't know if he
It's
had.
it's not a glamour thing. It's
No,
not
I
a
know
glamour
they're
thing.
not all. I know they're not glamour things of all the faces that you use and stuff, but I didn't know if he had like a different higher type of power or anything
No,
like that.
it's not magic. It's they're wearing a face.
Right.
Well, it is.
I mean, yeah, technically, yes, because it perfectly rests on their face and there's no gaps or anything like that. So there's so there's some kind of magic going on there.
Right.
But it's not that I'm taking my face off. I am wearing a face.
That I know. That's what I'm. That's
Okay.
why I was asking if he could be doing.
So you want to hear a wild idea?
Sure.
Remember from season 1?
Okay.
Anything specific you want us to remember?
Yeah, I'll get that. Arya's sword trainer,
Yeah.
Yeah. What's his name?
Sirio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What if? Okay.
No.
What if Jaqen was Sirio, and Jaqen was recruiting Arya to be one of the faceless men from the very beginning?
I mean, it's possible. He has the ability to wear any face he wants. So
Now, when the guards came for Arya and Sirio said, get out of here, go, 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 right? We never see Sirio die.
right.
Sirio never dies on screen.
That's true. That's right. You just make that assumption.
You make the assumption that here is the greatest swordsman of Bravos about to be attacked by 3 or 4 of,
The King's Guard or something.
were they? I don't know that they were King's Guards or they were just Lion Guards. I think they just might have been Lion's
They were
Guards.
murderers.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what's to say that he didn't fight those guys off and then suddenly appear as Jaqen when Arya needed him to appear?
I mean,
That's a good one. I like that. I hadn't read that one.
With resurrections and dragons and giants and everything that's happened.
Oh my.
Anything is possible in this universe.
I heard that one on the podcast the other day. I was like, I really like that one. I like that one a lot.
I like that one.
And also, do you guys remember and going back to Arya and the Waif possibly being the same person, when Jaqen was explaining who the Waif was, that she was from a noble house in Westeros.
I don't recall that.
Yeah.
I don't recall that, but I'll take your word on it.
When
Was that from last season?
Huh?
That was last year?
No, it was this season when she's saying you'll never be one of us.
Right.
And he's telling
She has
her
a point.
where she came from. And like he tells her a little bit of the Waif's background story.
I don't recall that one.
And he says that she was from a lower noble house in Westeros.
Okay.
And that's why he like she's like jealous of Arya and stuff like that. Like there's like, this tie-in together of Arya and the Waif right there.
Interesting.
So you guys how you guys feeling?
Good. Keep going.
Yeah,
All right, let's get right into the Sandor Clegane, the Hound returns.
The harsh realities of life hit the Hound very hard. Very hard. He can't escape this world that he wants to be free of so badly.
I think that he can escape it in a sense. I think in the sense that he knows that he has to go back to being the Hound and murdering, but he has to do it for a better cause, not for fighting for the wrong side or following, evil people. That he can now, I think a little bit is going to rub off, and that he's going to fight the good fight and use his badassness for murdering for a better cause, but that it'll,
I wonder where he goes from here. Because it's
Clegane Bowl.
Clegane Bowl.
The whatever we
He
want
doesn't
to call.
Well, that's his brother.
No, but that's the mountain, but it's not the mountain.
No, I know, but he doesn't even know that.
Zombie Mountain.
He doesn't know anything that he doesn't know that
That's what I'm
Zombie
saying.
Mountain
I
exists.
think that if he tries to go back to King's Landing and try and fuck his brother up, that his brother's just gonna straight. I mean, we saw it in the preview of next week's episode that the mountain goes down and it's about to literally rip someone's head off.
Yeah, that's gonna be awesome.
That's gonna be.
And one thing,
We've seen him go to somebody's face, and then
Right, but this episode, that clip was him grabbing somebody from the chin, like here, and he's pulled this way.
What I did, so where is the Hound? I want to talk a little bit about where is the Hound going right now, and I also just want to touch a little bit on BWB Brothers Without Banners. I mean, it's a big, and I just wanted to say one thing about Lady Stoneheart and the possibility of them bringing it into it, or are they just giving a nod to it? Because what I heard was, you know, and I don't know the story because I haven't read the book, but supposedly Lady Stoneheart's thing is to hang people.
Mm-hmm.
And how was Brother Ray, or what's the other name you're calling him?
Septon Marigold.
And how was he died? So they could either go there, even though Martin said that they weren't, or are they just giving a nod to her? Because supposedly, isn't she traveling around with them, the brothers?
Yeah, because Dr. Right, they brought her in the book. She gets, when the Red Wedding happens, she doesn't die immediately. She gets her throat slit, and she ends up by the riverside or something, and they find her, and then their red priest brings her back. But when she comes back, she's a vicious bitch, and her whole goal is to just kill everybody. Like, she just wants to kill
anybody that they said anybody that she sees as, you know, somebody that that even spoke to a fray, had anything to do with the fray, you know, anybody. She just doesn't give two shits, and that's her signature move, is to hang somebody. And that, you know, specifically, we got that hanging. So could they possibly go there, and they're trying to keep it from us under wraps? Or
if they go there,
to that story saying, look, book lovers, here's a little something that you know is probably going on that we're not going to delve into, but here's a little Easter egg for you because you guys know what's going on with Brothers Without Banners.
I don't know, if they end up, if the Hound ends up going to seek revenge on the Brothers Without Banners troop, and they show up there and there's no Lady Stoneheart, I think it's a...
We'll know. We'll know
that it has nothing to do with her at all.
But I think if it is just an Easter egg, I think it was a good Easter egg for book readers who know exactly who's doing all this hanging.
I'd rather them not even do that. I'd rather have them either do it or not. I think it's a missed opportunity.
Everybody gets Easter eggs everywhere. So
yeah, but I'm just saying, I think the storyline was so good that I wish they would have incorporated that one.
Yeah, 2 more seasons.
2 more episodes and 2 more seasons.
Yeah, so you never.
3 more episodes.
3 more episodes, 2 more seasons. All right, so then we have Blackfish and Jamie.
Yep, and Braun, the return of Braun.
Return of Braun, which was
Have
great.
we seen the Blackfish anywhere up until this point, or no?
The last time
Not
we saw him was
since-
when he stepped out to take a piss at the Red Wedding and everybody got fucking murdered.
Right, because he knew it was coming. He was like, I'm out.
Right.
See ya.
Yeah, he's going to go take a piss. I thought that meant that he was complicit at the time. I thought that meant that he knew that the shit
No, I figured that he knew something was up and he was getting out so that he could be the one like someone had to survive.
Yeah.
Someone from the Tullys and Starks had to survive.
Yeah.
Right, and it wasn't going to be, what is Catelyn, his niece?
His niece.
Yeah. And it definitely wasn't going to be
Her.
Rob.
But that whole scene with when those 2 Frey underlings go before Wardler Frey,
Yeah.
go back and take River Run, you putzes. And then they're standing out in front of River Run, and Jamie and Braun roll up, and they're just like, what the fuck is this mess that these people have done here? And they're like, we'll kill him, we'll kill your nephew Edamir, and Blackfish is just like, fucking kill him.
So that's going to be interesting because, and this leads me to one thing I want to touch on, which I'm so excited about, Brienne and Jamie getting together again. And it's so funny because like 2 weeks ago, I went on a YouTube binge and somebody had an hour strung together of all Jamie and Brienne's scenes together from beginning to end. And I was just like, I ship them so hard. I love them so much. They love each other. I know it'll never be together, but but it's going to be interesting to see because I know that in the books, again, you know, not like spoiler type, but I know that Jamie does have a redemptive arc now, you know, and it was much further along at this point. You know, he was on, Cersei is a bit different in the book. She's already gone like completely apeshits in the book. And Jamie, they haven't fucked, and Jamie is on this much more redemptive arc. So I'm hoping that Brienne's going to be able to convince Jamie to do the right fucking thing. And she's gonna. I
don't know. That whole scene, that scene with the Blackfish and Jamie was excellent.
Oh,
he was like, do you have my nieces? No. Oh, so you're here to get back into prison then, right?
So why did you bother with me?
Because I wanted to see you, and
He's
I'm disappointed.
Pieces are boring, and I'm disappointed.
Yeah,
I'm disappointed.
And somebody said that also cuts because Jamie doesn't have his father anymore to treat him like shit. And now you have this older, you know, statesman type guy looking at him up and down saying,
but he's just like, he's like, fine, go ahead. He's like, we've got 2 years of supplies in here. Do you? Like, what do you got? Go ahead. You can't break these walls.
Yeah. You can't break these walls.
That's why it's going to.
So that was really good.
It's going to be an interesting to see what happens with, like I said, with Brienne coming and Jamie and all of his troops and the Blackfish, and it'll be interesting. And the last thing that we have, we touched quickly on, I mean, the Greyjoys aren't like a huge thing. We touched quickly on Alex thinking they're going, you know.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the plan. I think that they're going to do their darndest, and I think it's going to be perfect timing. Clearly, their entire fleet has been burned down. Yara and Theon are you get the fuck out of the Iron Islands as fast as possible. And
well, they're gone. They're we don't know. I think they're actually halfway to where they need to be. I think or something.
I think that.
But that was a great scene between Yara and Theon, where she was like, "I need you, and if this is you, then just drink it and slit your fucking wrists because I don't need this Theon. I need the real Theon." And when she goes, I know you had a rough couple of years. And he looks at me and goes, couple of years? Like, they cut my dick off, you know?
And I've been living as a prisoner my entire fucking life. But it was a great scene, great acting. And the difference of Theon's eyes when he lifts his head up at the end there. And we see that little spark of him back again. And so we'll see what happens with that. And then lastly, we have Sansa and Jon. We have Lady Mormont. Awesome. Lady Mormont was awesome. Yes, and she was great. That was a great scene. Davos, you know, you get a little bit of those feels of thinking back to his relationship with Shireen. Davos and Shireen when he was speaking to her, and that was very sweet. But I think the most important thing of all of that is the relationship with Sansa and Jon. You know, it's like we forget that they weren't close and they didn't have any real interactions. And, you know, we only saw them in a scene one time in like, I don't know, it was like a party scene or something.
Season 1.
Season 1, right. And so she obviously is not confident enough in Jon and also is keeping her cards close enough, doesn't trust him 100% fully to tell him about Littlefinger. So that's going to be, you know, interesting to see.
I don't trust Littlefinger.
No, I don't think anyone trusts Littlefinger, but somebody deciphered the note and that's who she wrote to. I mean, not like there was any question.
No, yeah. I mean, who else was she going to write to?
Does she send it?
Oh, no, totally. It's sent. It's got to be sent.
But the question is like, cui bono? Because you have if that's the case,
Right.
Blackfish's forces then have to. Well, no, I'm sorry. The
Blackfish's forces have nothing to do with Littlefinger.
No, not
Brienne
Blackfish.
of Tarth is going to the Blackfish to then try and recruit those troops to go up and help them fight the Boltons as well, right? Because that's what Sansa sends her to do in the end, is to talk to her uncle.
Right, but her uncle's going to tell her to piss off because he's got to keep River Run, so he
Right.
can't go
That's
fight to the
unfair.
north, right?
That's
So-
what I mean. Brienne's going to try and get Jaime to, I think, to go.
So that means that the forces from the Vale that the Littlefinger has control over are going
Right.
to come out and help them to try and fight the Boltons.
Right, and that's
That is
What
the-
happens from there, because as soon as he does that, the little shit, I guarantee it, is going to bring up Robin fucking Aaron to Sansa, saying, because weren't they married at one point?
No, that's what he had. He had a plan of marrying.
Oh, okay. Well,
no, he married her off to Ramsay to secure the north.
right, which was a shit move.
Right.
And so
He couldn't marry Sansa to
Robin.
Robin Aaron.
Robin. That's not how that.
That's the implication, because he basically convinced
No.
the child man baby boy to go and save her. That's what he. That's
Yes, because it's, well, look, it could be for duplicitous reasons
I think.
with Littlefinger. But like I said, the actor that plays the character, I said this last time we did this, yes, said that, he thinks that he's super sorry that he's doing this to be, he knew that Ramsay was a shit, but he honestly didn't know that he was that big of a shit, and supposedly he's doing this
To redeem
to
himself.
it's like that he redeems himself. I don't know. Who
We'll
knows?
see. I said to Amy before we started recording the podcast, Littlefinger had made it clear throughout his entire existence leading up to the relationship with Sansa that he's only ever cared about one person in his life, and that's Catelyn Stark. And
Right.
that's still the only person he cares about. He doesn't care about her children. He doesn't care about her uncle. He only cares about her.
Right.
Yeah.
It was interesting to watch them talk to different people in different ways to try to get them to join up with them.
Yeah.
The scene with them and the Wildings, and 1-1, the Giant finally being the one that stepped up and said, "Snow,"
Yeah.
and then they're in, and then John failing, all of them failing with the Glovers,
Yeah.
and
Oh,
then
brutal.
Sansa tried to pull that last part, and he was just like, you know what? We bled and we cried for your father, and then where was Rob when we needed him? And I lost my family, I lost my castle, and the Boltons helped me get that back. I am not getting involved at this time.
Right.
Yeah. And you can tell John's like, shut the fuck up, Sansa. Like,
Yeah.
like when she says that, and he's just like, Jesus. Like,
She's
there's
still
a time and a
little-
place,
right,
yeah.
right.
And
Right.
you can't just go around and demand that people follow you at this point in time right now when the Starks like screw the pooch royally.
Yep.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Well, I think the next episode. I think the next episode is going to be kind of like a pause. I think we're going to get some. I think they're going to focus hopefully more on the Arya storyline and what's going on with Tyrion and Varys. We haven't seen them in a couple episodes.
Yeah.
Because the last two, I don't know if either of you read, but they announced the titles of the last two episodes.
Yeah, I had them up. I didn't memorize them though.
Episode 9 is the Battle of the Bastards.
Yeah. So
And
that'll be
and-
Jon Snow versus Ramsay Bolton.
Right. And episode 10 is called The Winds of Winter.
and
Ooh.
that's going to be an
That's a
hour
book
and
title,
7
right?
minutes long. That episode.
Actually, I think longer. 69 minutes is what I heard.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well, that'll make up for all the short episodes they've given us this year.
Is The Winds of Winter a book title?
That's the next book.
Okay.
That's the point, I think.
So that will be the day that George R.R. Martin announces books.
No, I read Not Till Christmas. Like what would be his motivation? Because he can make more money and hold out. You know what I mean? Till holiday.
That's what she said.
And that's that. One thing I wanted to ask, just quickly, since it's on my mind, I know I'll forget it the next time we talk, since we were talking about Brienne and Jamie before we wrap up, and I was watching, so I have everything fresh in my mind. So that's, that a great emotional scene in Pool, why Brienne, I think, understands him differently when she understands how he got the name Oathbreaker and everything he had.
Kingslayer.
Kingslayer, sorry. Kingslayer. And do you think it's going to come into play that she's going to have to convince people and tell people what he did, and that will come into the true part of who he is and why that happened? Because one of Bran's visions, and we didn't touch on them, we don't have time, is all of the fire, what's the green stuff called?
Oh, that they used at the Battle of the Black Gate.
That the Mad King was going to blow everybody up with.
Right.
Right.
Wildfire.
Something like that.
Wildfire.
Right. Is it
Wildfire? Yeah.
You keep seeing it all throughout, the visions and stuff like that. So also now I'm pretty sure Bran knows, because he saw Jamie in those visions. He saw the Mad King saying burn them all. He saw them dumping. He also saw somebody dumping fire, and we know that didn't happen. So that could be something.
Right.
I think that's going to be fucking Cersei, but we'll get into that another time. But I think that, so Bran knows that now. So I'm just wondering if he and those forces, the Lannisters, are going to have to come into play against the White Walkers eventually. So Bran knows that, and Brienne knows that. I just think it's going to wind up being part of the storyline.
I personally think that because of their sins, so to speak, that the Lannisters are irredeemable. Like Cersei's already proven that. Tommen is dead at some point soon. Like, he's too weak and too young and too.
Well, Tommen has to die because of the prophecies.
Yeah.
Right.
That she's lost 2 of her 3. He has to die. So the other thing that hasn't been touched on in a little bit that was brought up. So Amy mentioned it earlier. Clegane Bowl.
Yeah.
So there's a leading theory. I've heard it at a couple of places. Amy, you might have heard this one too. Is that Cersei's trial still has to happen?
Yeah, who are they going to call? Ghostbusters?
Well, the rumor is that she's going to do trial by combat, right? Because that's your right. So who is her champion? She'll put the Mountain in, right? So these guys, the podcast I was listening to, the Game of Thrones. Huh?
Can I guess what they said?
Sure, go ahead.
Tommen?
That the Sparrow chooses the Tommen. Right.
I was thinking.
Or that there's a discussion and I got to actually go get the Dunk and Egg book. I want to get that book and read that book. That there was an old trial that happened where you can choose 7 combatants.
Huh.
And so that Cersei would choose 7 combatants, and that the Sparrow would choose 7 combatants, and one of his combatants will be the Hound.
That word will get back that the Hound is.
That somehow the Hound makes it. But to Alex's point earlier, I don't know how the Hound gets back to King's Landing.
Yeah.
I don't know. In the books, the sequence that took place that we saw is actually on an island somewhere. I don't know where this takes place. It must be somewhere in the Riverlands, probably.
Yeah.
I'm guessing, depending on where Brienne and Arya left the Hound to die. I don't really recall where in the world that was. I know they were trying to get to the ocean so that Arya could go.
It was by the water. He was sitting on the rocks you know, by the water and green grass
So-
and stuff. I remember that.
So there's the possibility that Clegane Bowl happens as the trial, but it's a stretch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a stretch. But I think that the Sparrow puts Tommen in the ring as his champion,
Yeah.
and that's how Cersei plays the bet, and it goes wrong.
And
the
that's
Mount-
when I think
And the
Cersei.
Mountain has to kill Tommen, and then Cersei snaps.
Yeah, and then she snaps, and and then I think I have a whole thing going on.
Ooh,
This.
I knew it. I knew that was gonna happen.
I
This
stand-
whole time, she's been playing with that pen. Stabbed me in the leg. I knew it. I knew it was gonna happen.
It's one of the
It's one of
like
the
a
ones that looks like a
needle.
hypodermic freaking needle. She
It's like
got
a-
it. Thanks, Amy.
Check it.
Sorry. All right,
So-
well, this was a fun. Yeah, there's a lot of good things happening, so I'm really excited. And this was a good catch up. Now we are all caught up.
We're all caught
Yay!
up.
Yay.
We could have a full
So
for next week, and what
we could
will
we could stretch a little bit here. Alex, you wanted to talk about my fan fiction thing?
Well, I wanted to hear you have. It sounded like you had an origin point of this ire in particular. I wanted you to elucidate on it and perhaps discuss it.
So Amy,
what, the Arya stuff?
no, this is non-GOT related. This is now back out into the
Oh,
general geek world.
okay.
So I'm sure you're aware that
What
there
is
are.
What is it?
Remember, it was the whole thing where Justin was talking about like when the fandom reaches the creative source, like throwing in character or
Oh,
storylines. He's about to explain.
okay, gotcha.
So I know you don't watch the Marvel movies, so this is probably not going to mean anything to you, Amy.
That's
But
fine.
so there's all these, erotic fan fiction sites out there. I'm sure you're aware of that. For everything that there is, right?
Yeah.
And so one of the leading Marvel fan fiction eroticism things is that they make Captain America and the Winter Soldier homosexual
Right.
lovers.
Right.
And they're like, it got so bad after Civil War just came out that it reached a boiling point of like, a whole hashtag got created, like make them boyfriends or some crazy shit like that. And I'm like, and it got to Marvel, and like the
They're not
response,
Considering.
they're not going to do it, but the response was like kind of like, well, we hear you, and I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm not anti-gay. I am pro, right? You want to be whoever you want to be, and yes, I know they're just comic book characters,
Sure.
but there's no reason. You want that to be your fan fiction, go right ahead, but do not yell and scream at the parent company
Right.
to make your fan fiction become some kind of reality for you.
Right.
That's why you have fan fiction.
Right.
And for the managing entity to come back and even comment on it, I feel is like a waste of their time, because A, you're not going to do it, and B, so you're just going to continue these people to be annoyed and pissed off. And it's like, you know what? Get over it. Enjoy your fan fiction. Jerk off to Captain America and the Winter Soldier screwing each other. If that's what you're into, have fun. But leave the rest of us the fuck out of it.
Right.
And so I think there's such a blurred line now of what people feel they have the right to as fans to complain about or to ask the powers that be to make their thing come true. It's like, no.
Say it's about time you made
Yeah.
them a gay couple. It's like,
Right.
why? There's no
Right.
basis in history that makes them a gay couple. If there was an inkling of it that was out there, and maybe it wasn't flushed out in the past because of a social stigma, and they put it on the back burner, and then they could flush it out in 2016. But there's none of it. So to create it,
No, and they're like,
pander
it's ridiculous.
to pander to any
I-
fan base,
Yeah.
is ridiculous. Gay, straight, or indifferent. It's like
It doesn't matter.
they kowtow down. They can't even get a lot of Hollywood can't even get a lot of casting right. You can't even get,
Right.
the correct races cast as people. You have to whitewash everybody and
Well, but hold on. There's reverse of that happening too.
yes.
So
Making characters black that weren't necessarily black in the books and stuff, like in comic books and stuff. Yeah.
Now, I don't generally have too much of a problem with that. Like because when it's a Marvel entity, and I'm only going to talk Marvel for a minute because DC really has not had to deal with any of this stuff whatsoever. Briefly, a bazillion years ago, there was before the whole Batman debacle, there was a point at which one of the Wayans brothers almost became Robin.
Oh wow, interesting.
And I wouldn't have made a big deal. I'm sure there would have been tons of people who would have flipped a crazy lid on it, and because of the timing of it, whatever. But I'm sure there've been plenty of people who would be like, "Robin's white. He's always supposed to be white."
But also, the internet wasn't what the internet is now. Then.
No, and now the internet is just a giant.
So it was.
No, it was.
The internet is just a giant cesspool of people crying and whining and bitching and complaining.
I think it's more indicative of the fandom, really, because it's like, to me, it's a different kind of fan, and this is so weird because I'm the fucking millennial of the group, right? It's like a fan these days that has no respect for what's canon and what's not. It's like, if it comes from an origin source, like a comic book or a movie or something like that, that comes from the creative minds of the people or the corporation or whomever,
Right?
The material, and not the fans, then everything else that happens outside of that is exactly that. Outside of that, even the inkling of thought that even as a fan base, you have the power to not only voice your opinion, which everybody has a right to do, but have the gall to just be like, you're the bad guy for not making this thing that we all like happen, and you need to acknowledge us. And I feel like that's why Disney Marvel was compelled to say something, because in this day we live in, if you don't say something, then your silence is implicit of negativity. So it really bothers the heck out of me, because it's like, now you have movies that arguably do too much fan service, and really they're trying to focus something that only goes to the fan and not like the average moviegoer or the average television show watcher, the average comic book reader. I feel like you play a dangerous game when you facet your entertainment like for such a niche. Like, sure, not everybody's going to be into superhero comic book movies. I mean,
Right.
But at the same time, you don't want to you don't want to do what Kevin Smith does. You don't want to make movies that only Kevin Smith wants to watch.
And the thing is,
No. That's two different things.
scheme of things, how important are
And by the way, I love you, Kevin. Yeah, I'm from Monmouth County, New Jersey. If you ever see this,
Yeah, 'cause he's watching.
Please don't. Meant that with all respect.
No, but all right, we're getting off topic.
My thing I was just going to say, and all in all, it's like, how important, how deep does it go with superhero movies that the love stories are like super duper important in the grand scheme of the world? So
there are very few. There are very few.
Super Spider-Man and Mary Jane. Right, I understand that. So, but to add it in, just to add it in to try to make some kind of social fucking commentary is bullshit.
Yeah, totally.
Fuck them.
Fuck them. All right.
And on that note,
and there are plenty of.
I have a topic that I'd like you to think about for next episode.
Sure.
Okay.
Okay. We all have our favorite films, our favorite stories, and all kinds of stuff like that, right? But I'm sure that each and every one of us has one film that neither of the others have seen that you are devoted to in some crazy way. So I want you to think deeply and come up with, what do you think what is your favorite film that neither of the siblings have ever seen, and why should they see it?
We're gonna have to communicate and be like, well, have you seen this? Have you seen this?
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna have
I'd
to
rather
ask
we
each
didn't.
other.
Because what happens if we come back here next week and I go blah 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 and you both go, I've seen that movie? What happens then?
We'll have to email each other then. Like that's the difficult thing. Yeah.
Well, you know what? You'll have to be the ones emailing me, because I already have my movie, and I can guarantee you that neither of you have ever seen it.
Okay.
I have one already in mind too. And Justin, I'm fairly certain that you've never seen this movie, but you man.
So well, that's okay. Well,
We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
But see, that defeats the purpose, because if you email us and say, "Have you seen this movie?" and I go, "Yes,"
All right, then we openly.
What do you
accept
mean if
and
you
run
say
the
yes
risk.
and then you have to pick another movie? That's why it makes sense, because what's the point of coming here and saying and having the war and convincing you to see it if you've already seen it? That would be a waste of time. So then you got to pick something else. That's got to be the rule. If you're throwing down the gauntlet like that, then you have to know.
okay, fine.
Because then you have to say, well, shit, I can't pick that movie because one
Fair
of my
enough.
siblings have seen
I
it.
thought we were just going to discuss it, but yeah, if we're trying to say you should.
Yeah,
go
no,
see
that's-
it.
I'm trying to know that the point of the thing should be, I've seen this movie, you've never seen this movie,
Exactly.
and you have to see this movie because it's
Right.
blah 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 blah.
So that means you never have to have seen it. You know, so
Right.
You can't just not ask each other.
Well, then if we're agreeing to open communication, then let's just use our text.
Yeah, we'll talk about it. We'll
Yeah.
We'll figure it out.
So next time, movies that we've seen that
argue
that
your
others
case.
have not seen.
Your favorite movie that your siblings have never seen that they should,
So argue case to see it and why.
and you have to present your case as to why they should see this film.
Interesting.
Okay.
I'm gonna have to delve deep because, especially like Justin, you've seen a lot of movies.
Yeah.
We've all seen so many fucking movies.
Justin, you and I should pick, like, I don't know, the odd Marvel movie that you haven't seen yet, and the odd Marvel movie that I haven't seen.
That was gonna be one of
There is no Marvel movie I haven't seen.
Okay, so here was my assignment. I wanted to ask you guys if I'm gonna start off with any Marvel movie, what Marvel movie would you suggest?
Justin?
Iron Man, the first Iron Man.
And the first
Okay,
one.
first
Yes, I was
Iron
going
Man.
to say the exact same thing.
All right.
Yeah.
All
You
right.
love Robert Downey.
I do.
You will love this, Robert.
You will love Robert Downey. It's
I do.
everything that you love. Everything.
Oh, I
love about-
loved Robert Downey Jr. when he was on drugs. It
wow.
didn't matter.
But just everything that, like, Robert Downey Jr.'s portrayal of Tony Stark is Robert Downey Jr. playing Robert Downey Jr. Like,
Robert
there's
Klein on Broadway as Robert Klein
Cole.
on Broadway as Robert
Yes.
Klein on Broadway. starring
Exactly.
Robert Klein on
Exactly.
Broadway. Because this whole time, Justin, Alex's legs have been going.
I'm sorry.
No, but you don't know this reference. A lot of people won't. But
No, so are mine.
here, I can't stop my leg on Broadway.
Broadway.
Make me stop. My leg's been unstable on network and cable. It's taking me to the top.
All right, well, you can put that as one I've never seen.
Yeah, well, no, that's Robert Klein.
that is a comedy special you should definitely partake of.
Yeah, Robert Klein it's called Robert Klein on Broadway.
Is Robert Klein.
Yeah.
Starring as Robert Klein on Broadway is going to star as Robert Klein on Broadway in Robert Klein on Broadway.
Fantastic.
I
That's
kind of
wonderful.
I've looked it up on the interwebs. I haven't been able to find it. I think the only place to get it is to buy it on fucking Amazon. There's got to be a DVD of it at this point.
Somewhere.
So,
I would hope so.
but
I
I
would hope
looked
so.
for it to see if I could find it on YouTube, but I've been unsuccessful. All right, Sid.
All right, Sibs.
All right, Sibs.
So next
Good
week
war.
we'll have it's mostly God, but
Got war.
That's all right. We only got 3 more.
Ah, GOTWAR question mark large GOT. There we go.
Got war.
There we go. Copyright.
From
Copyright.
copyright.
let me get
Copyright.
that. Let me get that.
Copyright uptowngeekdad.com.
Yeah,
Okay,
there you go.
That's how Kevin Smith gets away with it, right?
Exactly. Another Kevin shout out. So get your cock out.
Get your cock out.
Yeah.
How's that theme music coming along there, SIB number 3?
Well, I'll
Yeah.
say it to you now live. You must do it.
I will do it.
We have to start.
It's been too long. We're on episode 7 and we still don't have theme music. So
Yeah.
Get on it, bitch.
All right. Signing.
All right, kids.
Time same SIB time. Some SIB.
Some SIB channel.
Time.
Some SIBs time. Some SIBs
Alex
time.
making an appearance in one screen.
Whoa. And Amy, to your point about the last episode, the back and forths were much, much less this time because it was just 2 screens.
Right. My screen was frozen. I think we're going to find a lot of it happening with this. It might not be my tablet. I think it's Wi-Fi. But anyway, that's not for SIB War talk.
Yeah, it's not. No SIB War talk.
No. It's the way the Hangout systems works is that it's click, 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 click. Every time you speak, it's going to go back and forth.
No, but last episode, my video, I thought it was my camera that was static. You couldn't see me. I rewatched it. You couldn't see me moving. And it's not the camera, it's my Wi-Fi because it's been happening this whole time on Alex's Mac. So.
All right, guys.
All right. Peace
Good
out.
night.
Good night, all.